Where's the bang bang, Preston? Come on.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Pub Sports Radio. Come find us in Southtown 101. Subscribe on YouTube and all platforms where podcasts are found.
Welcome to Pub Sports Radio, NCAA Net. Priz off it. It's January 20th, Thursday. Thursday's mean, Max. Big card, baby. Big cards, West Coast games. And then tomorrow's Friday. So how are you doing today, my friend? Let me know how last night was. Your betting. I'm here. It was good. Mine was pretty good as well. We're running hot. Let's keep it rolling. Tell me how it was.
Well, Conor, first, before we get into my betting, let's just ask how you're doing feeling-wise. We know that you're a little under the weather. You're storming through it like a goddamn SWAT officer through a meth house where there's babies in the place that need rescuing, okay? That's what Conor Mack is dedication is on the same level as, okay? So recognize that shit, first off. Second off, listen, you know, it was a really good night for me betting wise. I have to admit, I did bet some parlays and I did cash on some of those parlays. I felt dirty. I tried to wash the filth off of me, but yet again today, I'm on some parlays. So I'm nervous. I'm scared of what I'm turning into, but I'm back. I'm here with you on Pub Sports Radio with the We Be Pubbers. God damn it.
No doubt.
Fuck with our goddamn eyes open. 59 college basketball games. This is what January days are made for.
They are. They definitely are. Let me touch on mine, then we'll get to your great line movement from last night to today. Max will touch on everything side and total. We've seen probably 3 points or more movement. Rutgers came through. Dog at home. There's a few dogs today I like at home. Don't want them laying points. Don't want them on the road. They got the job done. Marquette, can't believe that they won the game. I just wanted a goddamn cover. They beat Villanova, so shout out to them. Bradley, Drake's so overrated. They're pathetic. I had a feeling that might happen. And Mercer, I'm done with. I should have probably laid off the over. I didn't. I almost kept that off yesterday right at the last minute, and I didn't. So shit on me there. But overall, it's a pretty good day. There's a few others yesterday that were good. Obviously, Max, you had the TCU, LSU, both those covered regular, but you hit it with teaser. And this man might be feeling a little teaseritis. I might have I have a feeling this guy might be feeling a little teaseritis in his body. But they came through the TCU under. There's a few other spots that were heavy leans to me. They came through. But yeah, it was a good day. We got to get to this day. It's a huge card. I want to get to your line movement right now. But before we do that, let's give a shout out to the chat here that are with us. No doubt. Let me hit them up here. Shout out to the chat. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. That's all we ask here at Pub Sports Radio. We don't want shit from you. Just give us a thumbs up. Give us a subscribe. That's all we need. And go on Twitter. Hit a retweet. That helps us to show out. That I like. What? Go ahead, man.
And Conor, even once in a while, like yesterday, the man, the myth, the legend, the boss man, the OG, the Hefe, freaking comes in and gives away $100 just for someone chilling and watching the show. That's how Pub Sports Radio does. That's how we do.
So what other space is doing this? Handing out free cash without asking anything from you. We just ask you hit the thumbs up for me. That's it. Shout out to it. As I always say, the best chat in the goddamn game. Kyle, Polly Walnuts, Sam Comer, T-Mac, Trance, my guy. How you doing, man? Kent Davies, About Buck, Bill McHugh, Jay Peasy, Rodney Barton, Row Your Boat, Row, Joe, UNLV 94, Clayton Smith 19, Elliot V. What's up, my man? Coco Bongo, good to see you. Coco, Jake Burns, what's up, D Holmes? How you doing, my man? Shout out to everyone here. Thanks for joining us. like I said, hit the like, go to Twitter, hit a retweet. Tell them Max and I are here. We're catching a little fire here. We're going to start rolling. My man Max, I knew he was going to get hot. He's just too goddamn good. And I think I can win a few games every once in a while. So, Max, let's get to your line movement, my guy.
Yeah, absolutely. First, Connor, I just want to say that the Providence-Georgetown game is on right now. It is very low scoring early. Providence is definitely trying to throw the gumbo salad in Georgetown's face, and it is working right now. So keep on throwing that gumbo. It is delicious, it is distracting, and it is going to help you beat Georgetown. Now 7-0 with a 3. Let's move on to the line moves, Connor, because we've had a very heavy day in line moves. I'm going to stick to the spreads to start, and then I'm going to talk about the line moves that involve big moves on the totals. So we've seen UC Davis go against Northridge tonight, and they've gone from a 2.5 point favorite to 4.5. Very interesting move with Northridge because they are showing some improvement. I think that with Georgia State going from a 4.5 point to a 6.5 or 6 point favorite against a very capable App State team, very surprising and could be the wrong move. I think that when we look at Arizona going from 9 to maybe 11.5 and 12, depending on where you're booking, that is some serious respect when we're talking about Pac-12 basketball and a road favorite to boot. So we have seen some favorites become underdogs, and with some of these dogs that have turned to the favorites, most of them are home. So I think that with Cal State Bakersfield, they went from a 1.5 or 2 point underdog to a 2.5 point favorite or a 2 point favorite. Stephen F. Austin was a plus 2.5 last night. That number is flipped. They are now a 1.5, and they're going to have to bring their best game. And if they have Nigel Hawkins back in the lineup, it's going to do a lot to take some pressure off Gavin Kensmill and Calvin Solomon. But you're dealing with a Grand Canyon team that they'll be minus their coach and Coach Drew, who's in the COVID protocol. But are you really wanting to go against this team that's been able to fuck with their eyes on the road, just like they've been able to fuck with their eyes open at home? This is a dangerous Grand Canyon team, and it has trap written all over it. So be careful with that spot. I think that when we look at UNC Wilmington going from an 8.5 point underdog down to 5.5, that is definitely some respect to what Takeo Sidel has going on with the Seahawks. So definitely something to take note of. College of Charleston coming off a very bad-looking home loss where Demetrius Underwood and John Meeks were both doing the freaking dirty. I think that we've seen this line reflect that, going and opening at 9.5. Now Towson's only a 6.5 point favorite. When we look at some of the added board games, there's still one main game in the Big West. Long Beach State opened up as a 2.5 point dog last night. They are now a 1.5 point favorite, and that is a lot of respect towards Joel Murray and Jaden Jones. That's how I look at it. I think that on the added board, the only spread that's really moved that I feel like mentioning would probably be Houston Baptist and the Incarnate Word game. We saw Houston Baptist open up as a 4.5 point underdog. They are down to now 1.5. So a lot of respect for this HBU team against an Incarnate Word team that, regardless at home or on the road, seems to be having trouble scoring the basketball lately. Now, Connor, when it comes to totals, this is definitely a deep list. We have seen some serious line movements, and I'll start with UNC Wilmington and James Madison, a 143.5 total, now up to 147, and coming back down, I see 146.5. I think that when we look at the William and Mary game, definitely something to take note of, because Delaware has been a very good over team in conference. The number open at 143.5 is up to as high as 146.5. So a lot of different volatility when it comes to this line. And if you shop in a bunch of different books like you should, and the ones that Pub Sports is sponsored by, then you should be able to get a variety of different numbers. When I look at the College Charleston Towson game, there's also a line move on that total, 150 down to 147. And that would be a line move that I think that is a in favor of Towson line move. We have seen Purdue and Indiana 144.5 down to 140.5. That is definitely something to take note of and screams a little bit of value, at least on the first half, if we have 2.5 point move on that as well. Conor, obviously, this is a very deep slate with a lot of line moves, and we're seeing another one in Appalachian State and Georgia State. 134.5 up as high as 139.5. So a lot of different numbers that you can get on that one as well. And a crazy one because I think that it lands right around 132. So I think they're all off. Another line move that I would point out that I also think is very peculiar is Western Kentucky and Florida Atlantic. This number opened at 144 is down to 139. For me, it seems like an over spot now. 5 points gives me enough value off my betting model to take that over. I think that when we look at a very dangerous under, we did see the UNC Greensboro Chattanooga game open at 124, now down to 122. That is definitely going to be a ass clenching game, and I don't want any part of it. Wright State and IUPUI in their rematch of their game last week, I think it was. IUPUI definitely stayed within the 22 points, and that total open at 136 is down to 132. So a ton of really good line movements in favor of some freaking lower overs now. If you are what Noli Knows calls the over better, which he calls me often, but I bet a lot of unders, Noli. I bet a lot of unders. All right. Conor, I'm going to go through just a couple more because I'll literally be here all day, and I think that everybody wants to get to some games. Monmouth and Fairfield, that's gone from 135.5 to 139.5. Do respect the move. I think that with Stephen F. Austin and Grand Canyon, that total's gone from 137 to 141.5. And without Coach Drew, we could see Grand Canyon put up a lot of points. Sorry about that. UMKC, South Dakota, North Dakota State. It's good to be aware that these teams played a game, I think, in the 40s last year. So seeing this line go up definitely is a little, seeing this line go down 2 points is definitely the right move, in my opinion. I think that this is a grinded out game. And without Josiah Alec for UMKC, definitely takes away a lot of their offensive firepower. And I think that's going to be about it right now.
Excellent. Always a good job. Huge slate of games. Yeah, you hit a ton of them though. But let's get to your first one you want to talk about here. Big game out west. San Francisco versus Gonzaga. Gonzaga's laying 16.5. Total 160. What do we like here in this big one? Gonzaga roll, team total. What are you liking?
I think that we're seeing Gonzaga finally step on the accelerant, and I think that they're on some wolf blood injections because this offense has just been fantastic. To see them put up 100+ points in 3 straight games, where I was literally calling out their backcourt a couple weeks ago, and this is what we've seen them do in conference year in and year out. I think when you have such a challenging conference schedule, you don't want to show everything that you're going to be able to display in conference season because, of course, you know, with all the video and all the staff that these programs have, you aren't going to be able to keep something secret for long until you freaking show it in a game. And I think that with this Gonzaga team, you know, it's hard for me not to think that they're scoring 100 points in this game. I think that with Drew Timme, he just scores such easy buckets all the time. He just slices through defenses. And I think that with Rasir Bolton and Nolan Hickman, freaking Andrew Nemi, you know, like these guys are ready to score. If they are hitting 10+ threes in this game, I do not see how they don't freaking score another freaking 100 bird. So the only way I'm looking at this spot is looking at Gonzaga's team total over. And while it is something that I am highly interested in, you know, I've been waiting to see if this line would come back down and see if that I can get an extra point of value, because at 89.5, you know, it is a good number. I wish I was getting a little less, But 45 points a half versus San Francisco team that's going to have to play up tempo against them in order to stay in it and has the front court to score inside and out. Yeah, I think that we're going to see a lot of possessions, a lot of quick ones, a lot of free throws, and Gonzaga score 90 points.
Yeah. Gonzaga, this team, you're not going to see it. It's a team, I think, a little bit, Max, obviously being in that conference. But even this year, they go out and play a lot of neutral games. And then when they go in this conference, they just play these road games. So I always thought that hurt them, and it hurts them, during March, during the tournament. But when they're at home like this, usually they just wax. So you're right on there. I agree. I think they can get to 90 here tonight. Let's get to your next one. Southeast Louisiana versus New Orleans. New Orleans is laying 3. Totals high here, 153. What do you like here?
Yeah, listen, I think that when we look at Southeast Louisiana, they definitely have the firepower and the type of firepower that can score on the road. I think that with Keon Clergeot and Gus Okafor as a 1-2 tandem, you're never going to be out of a game. And there's just so much three-point shooting on this team. And on any given night, they're going to be able to score 75 plus. I think against New Orleans, you're going to have a lot of opportunities to hit shots from the perimeters. They're going to not take a ton of threes. They're going to go inside. They're going to force you to foul. And with Derek St. Hilaire, every time I watch New Orleans games, I always keep track of how many times he takes the bucket off an opponent's made and goes right to the rim and scores. And I have it down right here that it's just a percentage that I think that he is going to help elevate this game tonight. He's going to help get the scoring going. And I think that he's going to have a big game in order to avoid the upset. I think that this is a line that should have been closer to pick 'em. I like Southeast Louisiana in the game, and I absolutely like the over. I think that we're seeing 160 in this shit.
Yeah, it is a high total, but I think there's points as well. It's not a game I bet, but I agree with you, Max. I think it should be maybe not be 3 here, New Orleans at home. But yeah.
I'll also say, Connor, remember, Southland Conference, 80% of the teams go over and score.
Oh, yeah.
These lines.
Yeah,
there's a reason why we're seeing a line this high and it's not 147 or 148. They're worried that this team gets into the 160s, 170s.
Yeah, they definitely score. Their games in conference here regular in the 70s and 80s for sure. All righty, let's get your next one. Northwestern State, Nicholls State. Nicholls State laying a big number here, 13.5. Big total here as well, 157.5, few 158s. What do you like here?
Yeah, I think that this is a game that Nicholls definitely is going to have to score the basketball to really keep Northwestern State down. I expect this to be a home rout for Nicholls. Ty Gordon is back in the lineup with him and Devontae Carter. You have a very good 1-2 scoring tandem that's not afraid to not settle for a jump shot. They will absorb that contact and go get it. And I think that when you look at Latrell Jones being able to come off the bench along with Manny Littles, these guys can give you a change of pace. Manny Littles can bang down low, get those offensive rebounds, score those second chance opportunities. And I just think that Caleb Huffman and Latrell Jones, both these guys have the freaking ability to make a difference offensively. I think that with Huffman, this is a guy that definitely is able to give you that outlier type game. We saw him do it against Corpus Christi and Incarnate Word at the Southland Tip-Off Invitational. And I think that that's what I'm looking for today. This is a group that is not going to turn the ball over. They are going to pressure you, and with their guard size, you're not going to be able to bully them around. Northwestern State is very reliant on Kendall Coleman and what's his name? Carvel T-Sit. Yeah, that's his name. So both these freshmen, or I guess sophomores now, because they had the COVID year, they're the engine that makes this Northwestern State team run. If they're able to score inside out, running the offense through Coleman, being able to get a couple turnovers and get some transition buckets, they're going to have a ton of transition buckets scored against them. They just got to be able to do a couple for us. I think that this is a group, while they have a lot of depth, they can go very deep. The biggest concern for me is, can they score enough at the free throw line and overcome some of their free throw shooting issues? They're decent from the other 2 levels. It's just for some of these teams, especially in the Southland, I'm always surprised and perplexed by their inability to hit free throws when there's no hand in their face, there's no defender coming at you, your feet are set, you bend your knees. Come on. So this is a spot where I think Nichols routes.
Yeah, I lean that way a little bit as well. But there's a shitload of games. I'm not laying 13 with Nicholls State today. But I lean that way for sure, Max. McNeese State, Texas A&M, Corpus Christi. They're laying 10 and a half, some 10, some 10 and a halfs out there. Total 143 and a half, right around there. What's your look here?
Bro, I'm just a big fan of this Corpus Christi team. I like them as a favorite. I like them as a double-digit favorite. They've been cashing some nice tickets. I think that when you look at them, this is going to be a real test. With this group in freaking McNeese, they can definitely lock you down. They can definitely come and play from behind. I've seen them do it, against Seattle. But on the offensive side for this Islander team, it's just that good. They played tough against Power 5 competition like Notre Dame and Minnesota, being able to score consistently and challenge to win the games in both of them. I think that they are going to be able to score 80 points or more in this game. And I think that when you look at how good they are at the dribble drive, how good they are at freaking throwing it down to Isaac Muchila and allowing him to freaking operate. And I always talk about him. I say that he's a mini Kenneth Lofton. He's only 6'5", but he has great footwork. He has great up and under ability, and he's a great 2-foot still jumper. So it's all stuff that you need when you operate close to the bucket and you're undersized. And when you look at this Islander team, they just have a ton of confidence and talent. Trey Tennyson, Delarius Keys, San Antonio Brinson. There is just a difference maker, an outlier, a guy who can have a big game any given night. And with the Islanders, this is a team I'm not afraid to lay points with. But in this game, Connor, the value is with the team total. I think they get to 80. You get a team total less than 80. Put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, McNeese is not very good. I like this Texas A&M Corpus Christi team too. It's just, hey, they're playing good basketball. You got to lay the 10. They got this number right, I think. So
yeah. They make you pay for it, bro. They make you pay for it for sure.
Definitely. Let's get to your last game. I will get to mine, and then we got a huge slate. We're going to try to rip through all of them today, Max, and get to them. Let's get to your last one here. Houston Baptist versus Incarnate Word. You talked about this line move that's come down from 4.5 down to 1.5, 2. Total 139 after 140. What are you looking at here?
Yeah, listen, this was a spot where I got on Houston Baptist. I didn't like the line. I've watched a ton of this conference with my own eyes, and Darius Lee is the best player on one of the worst teams. I think he makes such a big difference because with his wide body and his ability to score on all 3 levels and get to the free throw line, he is a dangerous guy. The key for him is to stay out of foul trouble. I think with Sam Hoffman, this is a guy that can put up 25 and get hot from 3, and him coming off a couple bad games, I do expect a big performance tonight against Incarnate Word, who does give you a lot of opportunities to score and beat them. I think that on the Incarnate Word side, RJ Clasper has really assumed the leadership role on this offense, and alongside Drew Lutz and Josh Morgan, they form a really nice trio of scoring guards. I think that this game is going to have offense. I think we see an easier time for Incarnate Word making jump shots. And on the Houston Baptist side, I think that the difference is Houston Baptist will have some good point guard play, even though their defense is literally looking like a bunch of freaking lost freaking old people trying to find out where to get a goddamn coffee coupon. So I think that Jade C is important. He's the key for Houston Baptist. If he can run the offense without turning the ball over in the half court and give you double-digit points, Houston Baptist is winning this game outright.
Wow, Houston Baptist for Max. All right. Hey, shout out to all you mentioned the old people want a coffee coupon. Coffee getting expensive these days. You ever gone to Starbucks?
I
Kick
never
butt
go to
action.
Starbucks. Never.
Well, there you
My
go.
banana bread is second rate.
You heard it first. Breaking news. Second-rate banana bread. Starbucks. All right. We got to give a shout out to the chat. We got 160 in here. We only have 60 likes. Give a thumbs up real quick for us. That's all we ask for. Nothing else. Just give us a thumbs up. Let's hit up some of the guys in the chat. We might have missed Max from earlier. Kent Davies, Kyle, what's up, my man? Elliot, Jake. Couple Jakes here. We got a few Jakes. We got Kaiser, Burns, all these guys. All right. C. James, what's up, my man? G. Guillermo Zertucci. THC Rizzo, what's up, my man? Carlos Smith, appreciate it, my guy. I'm glad you cashed big. Sharon, Jeff Slaughter, Izales, how are you doing, my guy? It's good to see you in here. Jay Peasy, everyone in here. Dan T, how you doing? James S. Shout out to all you guys. Just give us a thumbs up. All right, Max, let's get to my games, and we'll get on out of here, and we'll get everyone ready to let's get through the rest of these games. Hit me up with the questions. Matty Ice in the chat. Taint of the day, play of the day, Rice. -2.5. That number, large. The number has come down from 4, the opener. Yes.
That sounds like some Scarlett Johansson taint, and Scarlett Johansson, she's got some good taint.
She got that good taint. Let's get to this first one, Max. For me, SMU Memphis. This is just fade Memphis City here. Give me the +6 with SMU. SMU's been pretty good on the road. I know you backed them a lot, Max. I know they had the shit stinker with Cincinnati, and we were talked about that day that this is a trap spot. But I think we're back. Memphis has the talent. They could win here by 8 or 10, but I don't buy them at all. Penny Hardaway, I don't buy this team. SMU can shoot it. They score 77 a game. They shoot 38% from 3. These are teams I want to be on, Max. I talked about it yesterday as dogs. Not only dogs cover, they can win outright. It won't be easy, but give me the 6 points here with SMU. You talked about this total earlier. It's come down a little bit. I'm off the total. These teams are a little bit higher scoring for both them and their in the conference they play in, as we'll get to one of my games in a minute. But nothing on the totals. It's come down about 4 points. But what do you got here in this one?
Yeah, listen, I think that with SMU going to the smaller lineup with Bandomel, Davis, Zach Nuttall, and the Weather brothers, I think that that's going to help them get off to hopefully a better offensive start tonight than they did on the road against Cincinnati. I think that with Memphis, on the injury front, you do have 2 key players questionable tonight in Landers Noli and DeAndre Williams. So definitely a wait and see type situation with who's available. However, with the number being what it is, it definitely screams SMU.
Yeah, I'm not a big SMU guy a lot here. Like I said, Memphis has this talent. And if they play well, I still remember that game 2 weeks ago where Wichita, they just went in there and whipped ass. And their defense looked great. They got a few guys back, but they haven't looked the same since. Let's get to my second one. Chattanooga is laying 3.5 at UNC Greensboro. Totals here is 123, Max. We got a low total here. I think this thing is a rock fight. I think it actually might end up under that total, but I'm not on it. I'm on the side. I'm taking the 3.5 with Greensboro. This is a team that struggles to score, both teams at times. Chattanooga is a little bit better scoring the basketball. Greensboro, one thing, they've gotten their ass kicked on the road. They've been back-to-back road games. They just lost Citadel and Mercer, but they've been good at home. They beat Vermont, Wofford. They had a 4-point loss to Furman. They play better basketball here at home. I think they could win outright tonight. Obviously, Chattanooga, like I mentioned, I think has a little bit better offense, but this should be a game in the 50s, 60s, and maybe. And I want those 3.5 points with the home team here. I think Greensboro, they got a great defense, like I talked about. Just control Smith. He's the leading scorer for Chattanooga. I think this is a close one. So I'm on the 3.5. And even at 123, there's not a lot of, it's 123, but I'd still lean under if I had to take on the total here. What do you like?
I think that with Chattanooga, they've had to adapt to life without David Jean-Baptiste. With him now gone for, I believe, the rest of the year, it is definitely on Malachi Smith to run this offense, and he's got to be that 21 point per game scorer for Chattanooga to have a chance. I do think that they do have a wild card up their sleeve, a potential ace that they're hiding from the rest of the table, that they're waiting for a big enough pot to slip in. And that's Silvio D'Souza. Silvio D'Souza is a big wild card in this game. If he is going off and getting the best of Mohamed Abdul Salam, that's going to be a big problem. DeMonte Buckingham has to be the star player for Greensboro for them to win this game. And when we take away the teams and we look at the number, we look at the situation, I think you're on the right side.
Yeah, I think so too. I haven't been as high on this Greensboro team, but just if they play a lot better basketball at home, and it's shown. So I think Chattanooga might be the better team this year all around, but not easy to lay, now 4 points. You win by 4 or 5 at Greensboro. So give me the dog there. All right, Max, this is my last one. Obviously, the one got canceled. I'm going to touch on one other game, but Tulsa, Cincinnati. Noli knows where you at, my guy. Total's 133.5 here. Under. Tulsa's a team that can't score. They constantly are games that are in the 60s. Unless Cincinnati gets hot and there's some scoring here, Max. I thought this total was about 4 points too high. 4 or 5 points too high. I thought a 129 should be here. Tulsa, like I said, regularly under team. They went over a few times, Max, like Alcorn when they could score 80. But any team like this they play, Tulsa, like Cincinnati, all these teams in conference, these are just unders. These games don't touch the 70s. If they do, it still could stay under, even if one team gets there. So give me the under in this one. Cincinnati playing a little bit better basketball. I'm not messing with the side here. Tulsa was getting their ass whipped by Houston, just the other day. Had a great second half, only lost by 2. That game, 66-64. Similar to that. This game stays under 133.5. What do you like here?
Yeah, listen, I think that with the Tulsa-Cincinnati game, it's all about what you're going to be able to get offensive, production-wise from Sam Griffin. Sam Griffin is the key in every game for this team, I'm convinced. While Jariah Horn does a ton of stuff outside of his scoring, I think that Sam Griffin helps this team get out to good starts, helps them get off to a good lead. He has a mid-range shot, he has a deadly three-point shot, and he's going to need to bring that tonight in order for his team to have a shot at keeping this game close. I think that this is a game that, yes, we do see a bit of a freaking slow tempo game. Tulsa at home definitely can dictate the tempo a little more assertively. I just think that with Wes Miller type defense and very inconsistent guard play from Micah Adam Woods and David DeJulius, I agree with you on the under, and I also think that there's value with the dog, at least early in the first half.
Yeah, I think there's a little value as well. With Tulsa, it's come down a bit. I'm just going to stay on the under. My 4th game got postponed or whatever. I really like that Liberty Kennesaw game, Max.
Well,
side and total. Yeah, I'm sure you did too. I'm sure you would have been talking about it.
Yeah, I would have beat you to the punch.
I know. I thought there's one more game of the added board. Maybe he just doesn't want to. I don't know. So that's why I want to talk about it. And I didn't know it got postponed, but those are there's this one I added here. This one's earlier. We're going to get into some late ones that I like. USC, Colorado. This just swing is tough, Max, for SC, UCLA. These teams go to Utah, go to Colorado. Colorado's starting to play better basketball. This is a team like Rutgers. I just never I want them on the road. I want them at home where they play better basketball. They're starting to play better, a little bit better lately too, Colorado. Get 2.5. There's 2s everywhere, but I've seen a 2.5 pop up a few spots. BetMGM. I'd only be on Colorado. Seems tricky. It seems too easy. I don't know if SC is really this good. They haven't played too many true road games, and these are the conference game where you're going to lose, and it's just so goddamn tough to play up there, in Colorado. So in Boulder. So I think Colorado pretty heavy here. Plus 2.5. I think they could win it outright. What do you think here, SC, Colorado?
It is a big, dirty Pac-12 game. I will put on my USC hat. I will cheer for USC for 20 minutes. And if they let me down, I will send them shit in a box.
Yeah. Colorado better at home. They seem to just knock more shots down. Walker's better here. They all just better. Bartholomew, they're all better here. Play better at home. Tricky spots. There's some late night ones we're going to get into. Arizona, UCLA are laying some pretty big numbers on the road. I'd be leery taking those teams.
Also,
but we'll get those. Go ahead.
Also, remember, no fans in the Pac-12 home stadiums.
Yeah. Yep. That's it, Max. Those are mine. We're all good. We've ripped through it. I love it. Now, everyone, load me up. Start hitting your questions. Give me the side or total. Just give me the number. Helps me out when we roll through this. But first, let's get a word from our sponsor, and we'll be right back. You're in the San Antonio area, go to Southtown 101, get drunk, get some booze, eat a burger, some wings, best in town, then go upstage and go sing some karaoke. No doubt. Go to mybookie.ag at promo code PubSports. Use the Bitcoin, put 1,000. They match you with 1,000. And go to manscaped.com, promo code PubSports. Get the whole kit caboodle, get the Lawnmower 4.0 and everything it comes with. And go to get your pub rub, 2 for $25. Get it, rub your meat, chicken, ribs, brisket, get it. PubSportsRadio.com and cop our merch too as well. Real good. PubSportsRadio.com. All right, Max, shitload of games here, man. Let's get right to it. Kyle wants to know Winthrop. Do you have anything on that game?
Yeah, I thought that with Winthrop, this may be a little bit of a home dog spot. Presbyterian has been a lot more bettable and dependable at home. And Winthrop, while they do have a very good scheme, I think that it's really going to be on them to make shots early in order to have a chance to cover for their backers.
Excellent. UConn, your Huskies. They just beat up Butler. What was that? 76-59? Whatever it was. 16-17 point win. Can they do it again? Butler can't score, but they are at home. A little bit of a tricky spot. You trust your UConn Huskies, Max?
To avoid sounding like a biased asshole, I'll just say this. UConn. This is not a play that you tail me on. So Just put that out there right there. I'm going to be on UConn. And there just isn't anything that I would do to go against them. I don't want to watch them having to cheer against them. I've done that. And while I cashed against St. John's, I just don't want to do it again. So fuck Butler.
How about Oakland here? They're laying 7.5. Did you have anything in the Oakland game?
Yeah, listen, I think that with Oakland, this is a really good spot for them to freaking take their anger out on a Milwaukee team that is just a goddamn whipping boy. I think that when you look at Jalen Moore and his ability to dominate this game, attack the interior, get to the free throw line, the question will be, will he convert those and ones or will they just be 2 free throws? I think that when you look at Jamal Cain, there isn't really someone that can stop him in this lineup for Milwaukee. And I'm just going to ride with what's been working, and the Grizz have been working. I think that they're the 3rd best team in Michigan by a pretty big margin.
C. James, he says, how is Grand Canyon as an underdog? I liked them all year long. Stephen S. offense suspect. Yeah, they had that bad 41-point game. These teams have played some overs, Max. I was intrigued by the under a tad bit in this game. It wasn't like crazy, but I thought this number was a little high. What do you think in this basketball game? Grand Canyon, Stephen Boston.
Yeah, listen, with Grand Canyon and Javon Blacksher and Holland Woods, they are a dynamic, if not one of the under the radar top 5 best guard tandems in the nation. I think not having Coach Drew is definitely going to hurt them, but that's the only reason why I can see this line moving. On the Stephen F. Austin side, we've seen some really inconsistent offensive performances, and we've seen some pretty leaky performances also. If they're not on their best, Gavin Kensmill and Calvin Solomon and company are not going to be able to do enough to beat this Grand Canyon team. Grand Canyon should still be a favorite. Now that they're a plus money price, they are sexy as fuck.
Excellent. How about this one? St. Louis, UMass. They're laying 3.5. St. Louis total right around 149.5.
Yeah, I think that if you liked UMass, you took the 4. If you're taking the 2.5 now, you're probably taking the money line. To me, it's still St. Louis. I think that St. Louis matches up well with UMass. It's just about keeping them low scoring early on. And if that happens, then I think that St. Louis finds a way to cover the 2.5, but nothing that has made my board yet.
Oral Roberts laying 20, Max, I believe, to North Dakota. Total's high here, 162. What do you like here?
Yeah, listen, the one thing that definitely has some appeal would probably be South Dakota State's, we're talking about Oral Roberts?
Yeah. Oral Roberts. Oral
Roberts team total over. I think that with Oral Roberts being at home, that's the big thing. And like I say with Oral Roberts all the time, if they're going to cover big numbers, it's going to be because Max Asmus has a big game. And when Max Asmus puts up 19 or 20, they don't necessarily cover these big numbers. For me, it's a stay away spot unless I'm back in the home favorite with the team total and anticipating that they can score close to 100.
Yeah, I'm not messing with it. It's just a huge number. They could do it, but here's our guy, Rodney Barton. He's going to the JMU game. Max, they're playing Wilmington, UNC Wilmington. He wants to know over 145.5. Well, you got that. It's good, because this has gone from 143.5 to 147.5. Do you endorse our guy, Rodney, going to the game and taking the over 145 in the James Madison game?
I absolutely endorse that. I think that with both these teams, they don't play very big. And with them not playing very big, you do expect a lot of good perimeter shooting and a lot of penetration to the rim. And with James Madison, they are one of the teams on my list that I was talking to a fellow college basketball guru and Christopher Gargaro about how I make a list of teams that foul when down. Foul when they're freaking in a situation that it's like 8 to 12 points. This is a James Madison team that does that. This is a UNC Wilmington that does that. So I just think that if this game is close in the last 5 minutes of the second half and it hasn't already cashed, I do think that we will get free throws and ample free throws to get it over comfortably.
Well said, Max. I think that is exactly what happens. And it might even get over this before the free throws start, but I think you're right there. Remos, we talked about it. It's tank play of the day, but are you taking it, Max? Old Dominion's played a little bit better basketball. Rice, better at home. They're laying the 2. Obviously, this is taint play of the day. What do you think here in this one?
Well, it definitely reeks of the beauty of Scarlett Johansson, and like I say, when it's that blonde taint, it's the best taint. So I definitely think that the master of taint has his eyes on the right prize. For me, though, it's just about the total. I think that this is a game that finds its way to staying under 140 or 143 or 143.5. For me, Rice plays improved defense, especially with Carl Pierre on this team. He brought that leadership and toughness over, and it's really translated throughout the roster. If he's not in the lineup, it definitely takes away a lot of their appeal for me when it comes to the total. However, with the number being where it is, that's what makes most sense. And with the taint being like it is, I don't know, sounds like a little same game parlay.
Matty Ice, I think they are good. The Stanford game, California, I know is for sure no fans, but in Colorado, I'm not sure. Yeah, I think there are going to be fans there. I double checked that because he says the season on Ticketmaster. I think he's right. So that's why it makes me like it even more. But I know California, like Stanford, there is no one going to be there. Like when UCLA's at home, SC's at home, there ain't no fans for sure. I do know that. How about Lafayette, Max? They're laying 2 here. Our guy T Mac wants to know. You like it?
When it comes to Louisiana Lafayette, the key is who's going to be available. We've had some injury issues with this team recently, and that's my biggest problem with them. I think that going up against South Alabama with their quality of defense, they're going to need to be at full force and not having what's it called? Freaking Trevor Akubwa in the lineup like they did last time out against Texas State. That is something that really makes a big difference to me. I think that if he gets ruled in, it just adds to the physical toughness that this team has. We know that they got the trio of experienced, capable guards. When we're talking about Greg Williams, when we're talking about Kobe Julian, we're talking about Trajan Wesley. I think that the front court makes or breaks the game for ULL. Being at home definitely helps them, and making South Alabama have to score to beat them is also something that's going to be number 1 on the priority list. Win on the glass, get those second chance opportunities, and I think ULL is going to be freaking eating freaking South Alabama. Actually, I can't say that on this show. I think that ULL will be able to take care of business.
You can say whatever you want, my guy, on this show. You know that.
I think that would have crossed the line.
No rules.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. It's like way crazy, I guess. Yeah, we went over it, Kyle. Just rewind it. Just a few minutes. We touched on it first. Seattle. Kent Davies wants to know Seattle emotional win in OT. He likes Abilene Christian. Seattle played no road games. He's thinking of a large wager on Abilene Christian here at home, Max. And I believe the total is 141. Am I correct? Or is that?
I think it was 142.
Oh, okay. Well, I saw it at 141 now. But yeah, let him know what you like on this game.
Well, listen, I think that with Abilene Christian, it's hard to ignore how bad they've looked in these last 4 games that they've lost all 4. However, when we look at Seattle and their 4-game winning streak, outside of the Utah Valley game, they haven't really looked that good. And having to come back against Cal Baptist in the fashion that they did definitely downside their expectations in my eyes. I think that with Seattle, if they want to stay in the hunt for the conference crown, they got to go in and they got to win this game tonight. So forget the line. Seattle's got to win. Unfortunately, they don't have that freaking, I guess it would be lockdown defensive ability. I see them being able to play defense for times in this game. I just don't see them being able to lock down 100%. So, and then the other question is ACU going to allow Seattle to do what they want to do in the half court? Is Darian Trammell going to have all those lanes to the rim? Is Cam Tyson going to be able to get open for a 3-point look as easily? Yeah. I think for me, it has to be Seattle on the money line as a dog. And then I can bet live in game if Abilene is figured out how to freaking play against this level of competition and win at it at home.
Yeah, Hector, we went over it. UConn Butler. Max is on UConn. You know that. San Diego, BYU. BYU's laying 15.5. Total 137. Do you have anything in this one?
This was a spot that I definitely like San Diego's team total. I think that with BYU, this is going to be a game that gets into the 140s by my numbers. And I just think that with San Diego, they got some freaking they have some ability. I think that with you look at Terrell Brown, they're definitely missing Jace Townsend. I think Joey Calcaterra is going to have a big night against this BYU freaking backcourt. They're not as physical. We're not asking San Diego to score 67 or 68 points. We're only talking about 60.5. And I think that's a generous number. BYU definitely has played some defensive basketball at home, but like we see in conference, when these WCC teams start to get going, we do see the offense pick up, and I think that this is going to be a game where we see that. So San Diego team total over is the way that I look in that game.
Cal Fullerton versus Cal Irvine. I think it's 5.5 is the number. Do you have anything here?
Nothing that I really want to share. Sorry about that.
Yep, no problem. That's why we're here. Rip through it. How about this one, Max? Stanford VMI. A few people have wrote this in the chat. They're laying 4.5 here, high total. What do you like in this one?
I feel like Sanford definitely can win this game outright. I think that I'd be more comfortable if I'm backing Sanford to back them first half. And when it comes to the total, I keep on trying to find something to give me some backup when it comes to taking this under, but I don't really. So I want to take the under. I just haven't been able to pull the trigger on it.
Okay, excellent. How about Buck, Troy, UL Monroe? Anything in that game?
I think that with Troy, they are definitely have to bring the offense on the road. ULM definitely plays much better at home, and with their trio of guards, I think that it's on them, especially Kareem Ozier, to be able to be efficient from the field and be able to balance out the scoring. ULM definitely is more appealing when they're at home, tenfold than when they're on the road. It's just hard for me to back them in this situation with this opponent.
Definitely. How about let's touch this big one, Max? We'll get through the time. Purdue, the Boilermakers laying 3.5 against Indiana. Indiana just can't get it done against Purdue. I mean, I don't think they beat them, in 3 years or something like that, 3 or 4 years. I want to take Indiana. I don't trust them. Purdue's owned them. I'm off the game. You talked about this totals come down. Can it get over now? Conference game, what do you think at 140.5?
I think that at 140.5, it looks too easy. It looks just too easy to freaking hit that freaking over. I think that when you look at Purdue, though, Connor, Purdue's going to have the advantage on all 3 levels. When Trace Jackson Davis has an advantage against freaking Trev Williams, they're going to bring Zach Edey in there, and he's going to eat elbows in the post. We see every guy trying to defend Zach Edey take 2 or 3 elbows right in the jaw.
Right in the face, yeah.
Listen, Trace Jackson Davis ain't going to be freaking any different. I think that when you look at Purdue and the 70 or 70.5 team total that you can get on them right now, that's what's really appealing to me. I think that Purdue is a team that I want to back early on, and I want to see how this game develops, because this is once again a road favorite. This is a ranked versus unranked, and we know how those historically work out. The underdog wins, and Indiana's 11-0 at home, and that ain't by chance.
I totally agree. A lot of things on both sides. It's just for me that when I saw that and did that, I just can't pull the trigger. But it should be a good one. And like Max said, maybe bet it live if you're watching that one. So let's get to a few more here, Max, before we get out of here. Dawn wants to know anything on North Dakota State. They're laying 2, I believe. I didn't play it. Did you, Max?
Yeah, this is a spot where I think that North Dakota State is going to be able to win. I think that if they don't have Grant Nelson in the lineup, I think that is something that they can get over and get through. UMKC, this is a team, obviously, that they have played some real freaking rock fights. And I'm talking about like under 100 points type rock fights. So this is a game that's going to be on one of my monitors, because I will be live betting this total if it is going to turn into one of those low down scoring games. UMKC without Josiah Allen is definitely not a bet on spot for me. It'd have to be the Bison or nothing spread wise.
How about this, Max? Elon Drexel laying 5.5, total 138.5. Interesting spot. I like both these teams as dogs, kind of. Do you trust Drexel to lay this, or do you like Elon? What do you like here?
I think that with Drexel, Xavier Bell had a 30-point game last time out. That really catapulted them to the result. And I think that without that type of production and not having James Butler in the lineup, it's real tough to back Drexel as a 5.5-point favorite. And I'll say this, if Elon was at home, I'd be all over Elon first half money line. It's just like an auto play for me. I think that this is a spot where I have a little more trouble pulling the trigger. I'm just going to freaking have to watch this game live.
No doubt. About Buck, Marshall, FIU, anything there, Max?
Yeah, listen, I'm not going to back Marshall on the road. It's just simply put, I'm not going to take them on the road. While FIU definitely has been a little perplexing and frustrating, I would have to lean towards the home team there.
How about Western Kentucky, Max? Did you have anything in that game? Someone mentioned that. I wanted to get to it.
Yeah, this was one of the plays that because of the line move, I definitely like the over that much more now. When
Yeah.
you're talking about a Western Kentucky team that can score inside with a 7'2" beast, or he may be even taller. I think maybe 7'6" or some shit.
God damn.
Whatever. With Sharp down low, you're literally always freaking an arm's length away from getting a 2-point bucket. And with Cam Justice re-entering this lineup, it just adds to the freaking fruitful depth that Coach Stansbury has at his disposal. I think that Western Kentucky puts up points. I think FAU gets a big game for Michael Force because what else has been happening? Michael Force been fucking with his eyes open, and then Elijah Martin's going to have to fuck with his eyes open too. I think that there's points in this game, and I'll gladly take that over with the decrease from the opener.
Canes Nation's got a sleeper for me, he says. Tarleton. They're laying 5, I believe. Total's gone up a little bit to 132 against Cal Baptist. What do you like there, Max?
Oh, yeah. You want to go into Stephenville and you want to beat Tarleton there? Yeah, no, they are a completely freaking Jekyll and Hyde team when it comes to the road and home, playing in that small gym. This is one of the rare times that I want to back a purple team. And if you're looking to do a Jeff Slaughter Texas two-step, and you want to talk to the man, go with Tarleton State money line or Tarleton State at a reduced spread, and you'll make a friend real quick.
There you go. This man likes it. I like it as well a little bit. Don't love it. How about Northern Kentucky, Max? Did you have anything in that game?
First half under there. That's this play that I'm leaning towards getting on.
Okay, let's hit a few more. We had Oakland. Let me see a few more. Towson, Charleston, you talked about it. Shout out to Big Show was talking about this game before we started. Hit it.
Yeah, I thought that Charleston first half definitely had a lot of appeal. I think that when you look at the total, though, definitely a little more perplexing with the move down from 150 to 147. It's the Josh Applebaum rule, like I say often on the show. 150 total, moving down in conference, take the under. So tough spot right there, but I'm leaning towards getting on Charleston first half.
I didn't play the under mark in the Elon Drexel game. I thought it was decent there at like 137. I lean a little bit to that under. What do you think of that game, Max?
I think that with Elon on the road, definitely a different kind of scoring output than you see at home, and I would tend to agree with you when it comes to the under there.
How about this? Eastern Illinois is horrible. Murray State's laying 27.5. Do they cover even a big number, Max?
I think that Eastern Illinois struggles on offense even more so on the road than at home. I think that Murray State has a good chance of covering. I think the better play is to ride with Murray State's team total. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see me getting on the first half under because it's going to be fucking low.
Hey, Connor, can I ask you a couple questions about these late ones?
Yeah, I was going to get to them right now.
All right.
But go ahead. Hit me. Go ahead.
Arizona and Stanford.
Arizona, Stanford, Max. I know you're not big into there will be no fans here. That I do know for sure in California. No fans. Tricky spot here. We've seen this last week when these teams laid the big numbers. Oregon State, I believe, covered. Oregon beat SC. There's a few others, but I'd be Stanford at home here. This might be too many. I am very high on Arizona, but to go in conference and win like this, I mean, would be big. Stanford, up and down team. I'm not really high on them, but I'd be leery right here laying it. I like the dog if I'm playing this game. What about you, Max?
Yeah, for me, it's a stay away. I think that I want to use Arizona to win the game. I don't think that they're going to get upset. I just cannot take a line when they were available at 9 and now it's 12.
9. Now it's 12. Excellent. UCLA, Utah. This is at Utah, though. We talked about Colorado. This is not going to be easy. Utah has been horrible on the road, like normal. I believe their last home game was Fresno, Max, and they won that low-scoring 55-50, I believe. So they haven't been home in a while. I'd have to double-check that or somebody can for me. But when they have been at home, Utah plays really well. So I never want Utah on the road. So if I were to play this one, I'd watch out for UCLA here. They probably get this win, but I don't know by double digits. I'd only look Utah here at home. These are certain teams. They just play better basketball at home. It's not easy to go into. We talked about it yesterday. I brought it up today. I think Utah's a live dog here tonight.
Yeah,
What do you think?
For me, it's a no play. I'm not interested in touching anything in the game.
Yeah, I mean UCLA could go in there and win, but obviously one of the top teams in the country. But I think you could look other games to play that are a little bit better. Max, before we go, is there a few games you want to touch on before we dip?
Well, I think that we could go a couple extra minutes considering that we got quite a few people in here. So how does that sound?
That sounds good. How about
Okay, so
You guys just want to go rapid fire and either backwood or give a lean on the side? No explanations. Just go down
yeah,
the list.
yeah, we can do that. We can do that.
yeah, you're gonna just pull them up,
Yes,
or you
sir.
want me to go through? All right. There we go,
Over.
Max.
Over.
Over. I'd lean Weber there. Go.
Lamar over.
I'd lean Dixie over.
I'm definitely staying off this game.
I'm off too. Ooh.
Santa Clara, please and thank you at this big of a number.
I lean Santa Clara. They are back. Some guys are back and they're scoring, but St. Mary's, it got over that point with Pepperdine. I can't. I'd only lean under. I know Santa Clara scores a ton of points, but I lean under in that game. Strong.
Oh, Air Force
There we-
all day. Ethan Taylor, baby. Look him up. Watch his game. He is the next star freshman for Air Force.
UNLV playing better basketball. Beat San Jose State, who's starting to look shittier and shittier as we get into conference. UNLV, though, struggled. Well, every year they go to Air Force. They have a tough time. And even with this Air Force team with a few guys out at times the last few weeks, I'd be leery laying the points with the Rebels here tonight. Even though they look good with these new transfers, Max, and playing better basketball, I'd be leery of that tonight. Yeah, I lean Air Force.
Oh, I'm going with the home favorite now that was a home dog. Bakersfield is showing me some stuff. You know, I've actually had to pay attention to their games, and it's definitely going to be a rough ride trying to score inside against this Bakersfield team. Noel Coleman's going to have to carry Hawaii offensively for them to win.
Pass for me here.
Oh, I am all about the Beach. I think that the Beach is going to win, and I loved them when they were 2.5.
I agree with Max a little bit here. I don't love it, but I lean with Beach as well, Long Beach.
Oh, it's all under all day for me with that spot. That's the only way I'm looking at it.
I like the under a little bit. Portland State has disappointed at times this year for me. I can't play them, so this game was a pass, but I wanted to take them as a dog at home, but I don't know if they can get it done.
That's definitely a pass for me. Too big of a lineman with the total, and I just don't understand it. So I'm just laying off it, gonna bet it live. I'm
off as well. Northridge has really bit me in the ass the last few years. You talked about they're playing a little bit better. I don't give a shit. Tonight's not the night I'm going to take him, but you might be right, Max. Maybe this line's gone up with Davis, but I want nothing to do with it.
This is a. Oh, I will not take Loyola Marymount as a home favorite. Not even against Pepperdine.
Me either. I don't. They got it done against Portland after their 5th road game. We mentioned that. I don't want to lay 10 with Loyola. I think Loyola wins that game, but I would be leery of laying 10 points. Total moves up. That's moved up about 3.5 points as well. There should be plenty of points. Look over.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's under for me. Even though the number's going up, I still think that it ends up in the 137 to 139 range.
I agree, too. I think that the total might be a tad bit high, Max. We've seen Oregon State at times play to some overs, but they've been playing better basketball. I lean under there as well. I don't want anything with the side. Both these teams suck. Pass.
Ooh. Yeah, definitely team totals in that spot. I think that Akron's team total as an underdog is obviously going to be lower, and I think that they're going to be able to easily score against Bowling Green's defense.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't have anything on the game. I leaned Akron, but it's a pass for me.
I think that's App State territory. App State could be a live dog tonight against Georgia State. defense wins. And as long as they get Adrian Delph in that 20-point per game average that got him player of the freaking week, I do think that they can rock out with their cocks out.
I'm a big App State fan, Max. They were just, around this number. I just like taking them with the points. I think I'd be on App State as well, plus 6.5.
Hey, listen, this is a favorite that I'm going to back. I believe in UT Martin. I believe in freaking KJ Simon. And at home, laying a short number, I'm happy to do with this freaking abysmal Austin P offense.
Yeah, Austin P's horrible. I agree with you, Max, here a little bit. It's not one I played, but I laid the short number with Tennessee Martin here. I just don't like Austin P. And like you said, dreadful offense. And they show up every once in a while, usually not on the road. So lean, Tennessee Martin.
This is definitely going to be an offensive game because Moorhead has to score against Belmont. We've seen Belmont get locked down. I think Moorhead's a live dog. They got a lot to play for in this game.
This was a lean for me. I didn't play it. I wanted more points with Moorhead, but I think they're a little live here at 5.5. I wish it was a few more 7.5. I was going to really look at this game, but lean Moorhead as a home dog here, and I could only look over if I had to play it. 141.
Charlotte, North Texas. I think that North Texas puts an ass whooping. I hate to say it, but Charlotte is just getting smoked on the road by whoever they play, and they got to beat me to show me that they can freaking come through for their backers.
Yeah, I'm not going to play it. North Texas or pass. I never like laying a big number with them, and they could hold Charlotte to 50 points here, and this could still stay under.
Yeah, listen, I think that Coastal Carolina has some problems on the road, especially if they don't have Rudy Williams in the lineup. But with Georgia Southern's lack of creativity from shooting the ball, I can't back them. I have to look towards Coastal, even though they've had so much trouble on the road here.
Pass for me. If I had to, I'd lean towards the over.
This is definitely a pass for me.
Pass for me as well. I don't want Ezra or Tech.
Yes, Summit League basketball. South Dakota is a better home team to back. I think Western Illinois definitely puts up some points. I like the over in this game.
Totally agree. Took the words out of my mouth. Lean over.
Speaking of overs, speaking of big favorites, William and Mary is going to get smoked again. The good ride, the good times are over. Bluehead fucking with their eyes open. Shout out to my guy Teach, who is hopefully going to the game. He's betting on Delaware. I'm fucking tailing along with him right to the goddamn lady of the night.
I want nothing to do with it, but you're right. There's no William and Mary on the road. See ya.
Hey, before we get to the next one, everybody smash that fucking like button for going through this rapid fire show. Shout out to you boys. Let's get it going.
Ooh. Under. I don't believe in IUPUI, and I'm not going to back Wright State even at this number. They probably come. Not doing it.
Yeah, they might, but I'm not going to lay 14.5, 15 with them. And you said the under, Max, but it's come down a little bit too much. It's off the total for me.
This game looks like a trap to me, and we've also missed the best of the over when it was at 135.5, so it's a pass.
I totally agree. Monmouth just on the road. I don't want them. And I've seen them where they've had a few stinkers. Fairfield at home. I'd lean to them. I wanted more points though to play it, to be on Fairfield, but it's just a lean.
Listen, Sam Houston State is played fantastic. New Mexico State will come in and put them back in their place.
Yeah, this was a pass for me. I had nothing on it.
Oh, Arkansas Little Rock team total over. I love it. I love it. I love it.
I like Arkansas. I like Texas State when they're at home, but on the road, now you're asking them to win by basically double digits. This has moved up too. I lean to the dog here a little bit as well, Max, with Arkansas Little Rock, and there should be some points. Totals come down a little bit. I'm not going to mess with that, but lean the dog here, Little Rock.
This is a Detroit U spot or pass for me. I will not take Green Bay against a capable two-pronged offensive attack like Detroit has.
Pass. No way I want to get close to this game.
Listen, I think Murray State team total, and I think that the game stays under, but it's one of those spots where I like the under the opener. I like the first half over now.
Pass for me. Too big a number to lay, even though they should cover that number.
Montana State will win by double digits.
I agree a little bit there, Max. I don't love this Northern Arizona team. They are a little bit better at home, but both teams suck. So it's a pass. We good? We gotta come on.
Idaho. They will make a very big Idaho surprise.
Yeah, I like I like the Vandals too a little bit there at home tonight, Max.
St. Thomas, Tommy's got the biggest game of their freaking D1 season with the freaking Jackrabbits coming in. Points, and give me the goddamn dog.
Lean the dog here, the 9, and I think it's over. Is that what you say? Even at 162, take that goddamn over.
This would be a Tennessee State money line dog spot. Watch and see.
Yeah, I agree a little bit. I passed on the game, though.
Big advantage for UTEP in this game. Go look it up, figure it out, and thank me later.
Oh, Max said it all right there. He already told me about it.
3 more.
Boom.
That is definitely a spot that UT Arlington, I got to check who's available, who's not playing before I back them. Otherwise, I will turn around and I will be on Caleb Fields in Arkansas State.
Yeah, I lean Arkansas State, but I ain't getting my money.
This is a spot where I think Utah Valley is going to have to show us early that they are going to rout Rio Grande Valley. Otherwise, it is going to be a frustrating game to watch.
I agree. If they pounce early, Max, and get a lead, they could cruise. But I'm just not gonna lay it with Utah Valley. I love that team, but they should get it done. But I don't want to lay 12.
Last one, boys. Last one.
Give me Boise. Road Warriors.
Boise, as the same. Utah State struggling. They're in for it. Miller out there struggling. Boise. We good? All right. That was it, Max. We ripped through them all there. Shout out to the chat. You guys getting over 200. We already got 130 thumbs up, Max. Just boom. This is what the shit we're talking about. College basketball is back. We're going to win some goddamn money, Max. I love it. Shout out to the chat. Boston Nick is in here. He says you're an island boy, Max. Nathan Cerna, Don Carleone, About Buck, Dan T, AJN, T Mac, everyone in here. JPZ up in this. Lance LaRose, what's up, my guy? How you doing? Jake Burns, what's up? Jefferson C, Sam Colmer, Rara Murray, what's up, my guy? Andrew, it's good to see you. Mark Schillingberg, it's always good to see him. Everybody here, LAV. Sorry if I missed you, if I couldn't go back so much. Canes Nation. Damon, what's up, my guy? Good to see you. Man, we got through it. Went overtime today, Max, but well-deserved on a Thursday. But I'm ready to get out of here. You want to give a shout-out to the chat before we dip?
Yeah, listen, chat, it's going to be a freaking wild night. Games all the way to 11 p.m. Eastern, so make sure that you show all your West Coast friends some love because you're going to be up in their ear, bothering them, annoying them, and I'll be in the Kremlin, fucking with my eyes open, and hopefully celebrating a winner that I can find for you guys.
Real quick, do you want to give them a winner before we leave?
Well, listen, I think that with the Southland being the only action on the added board, it just is a really sexy looking spot, I love my little freaking added board. It's a fun time freaking betting. And I got a 3-team parlay for you guys to freaking tail if you want or fade if you want. Hopefully you just cash. That's the key. So I'm going to be going on the alt lines. I'm going to be taking Southeast Louisiana, New Orleans over 145.5. I'm going to be taking Houston Baptist plus 10. And I'm going to be taking the Islanders of Texas A&M Corpus Christi minus 2.5 for a plus 103 and hopefully a sweat-free, non-ass clenching winner for you guys. And
there he is. Parlay. This man has teaseritis. And I don't blame him. Hopefully cash is big. My guy, I love it, Max. SMU +6. Memphis, just suck. You suck. Just do it again tonight, please. UNC Greensboro +3.5. Home dog. I like it. Damn it. They could win outright. I think this is a rock fight. Tulsa, Cincinnati, under 133.5. And that's it. I talked about that last game. We talked about Liberty being canceled, Max. I think Colorado +2.5. It's pretty strongly. I think they beat SC here at home. That's it. We're out of here. Shout out to the chat. We appreciate it. We've gone overboard. We'll see you. Tomorrow's Friday. We're out, baby. He's a great Maxwell Smart. I'm Conor Mack. We're out of here, baby. We be pumping! Peace. That cash.